A very good afternoon to Mr. Chandiok. I think he is an apt starter for a discussion like this because he plays mediator in Delhi High Court very regularly. Uh, Thank you to Akriti and the Legal Era team to give me an opportunity to speak at this forum. Uh, I think if I look at the speakers which are lined up for today, there's a very little need for me to speak about what's going on in arbitration in India because there are some very senior advocates who are doing it in and out. Uh, would have a lot to share with the group on Karya, Amazon, and a number of other amendments which has happened last year in 2015. So I would rather skip and then skip that part and focus on my own experiences as someone who was practicing in India and recently moved to a larger profile, and how I basically saw the need of arbitration or the ADR. It is very interesting that most of our relationship at group levels with major law firms are through the arbitration partners and not through an M&A partner or a corporate partner as we would specifically have in India. And when I inquired more about it, we realized that we have a number of arbitration, and in procurement, sales of goods, arbitration is one of the most preferred methods along with mediation. So ADR is playing a much larger role in some of the industries, and something like industrial, it's playing a very effective role. Now, if we go back at what did COVID did, because that's the post-pandemic, the theme of this conference is, if you pick up the data of ICC or LCIA, ICC had 946 references last year, which is the highest ever. LCIA had about 450 references last year, which is highest ever for them. So it really shows that when everyone was working virtually and courts were taking time to come up to speed, eventually they did. Arbitration was the preferred mode because it was inexpensive. The technology was available much faster than it was available to courts. It didn't have to go through the bureaucratic system or the administrative requirements of the court to get the budgets and everything done. You can just sit where you are and start the work. And it also provided you procedural flexibility and some sort of a certainty. And in courts, there were so many hearings which got cancelled because you know whether the lockdown will stay or not stay, whether the bar will be happy to appear. But there was a certainty when the arbitration was happening because it was more or less agreed from day one that there will not be any physical hearing. And we also saw a very less or little amount of adjournment on the ground of COVID. And at some point of time in courts, it became a reason to take adjournment. Sometimes it was a valid reason, sometimes it was not. But in arbitration, unless the parties or the lawyers were not available, the adjournments were not granted. So it actually moved quite smoothly after a few initial weeks. In UK, the UK government issued guidance in May 2020 to say that use ADR while we put together the court system, and if there is any urgency, please use ADR. They went ahead and made it public. Now, all of this arbitration development, how does really it's impacting India? If you look at what legislation has done, the initial act in 2015, 19, 20 amendments, I think it's been extremely progressive legislation, and government has been taking initiatives to amend it and then to bring it in par with what the industry requires. Presence of Justice Nariman helped it a lot. I think he set up some precedents in this area, which had put the whole legislation on a very good path. His contribution to arbitration and also to insolvency has been extremely important. So when legislature has supported, when the highest court has supported, why the Indian arbitrations the global arbitration, the English law arbitration, or even Indian law arbitration are going to Singapore. And I'm picking on what Mr. Chandiok was saying, that we have to collectively act. Is now the law or the practice of arbitration has reached a point that where practitioners have to actually step in and start doing the work. We don't have a specialized arbitration bar, and with all due respect, a number of lawyers, number of mid-level lawyers or senior lawyers are trying to move from litigation to arbitration. They want to be in courts from 9 to 4 and then do arbitration after that. So we really don't have dedicated arbitration lawyers in a very large number. There are a few, but not to say that, okay, this is the arbitration bar of India. At the same time, do we have full-time arbitrators? Yes, we do have in form of retired justices of high courts and Supreme Court. But do we have professionals who know about the subject and are available? Do we have senior lawyers who are acting as full-time arbitrators? So the infrastructure still needs to develop, and we don't have an arbitration center like an SIAC or a London center. We have taken a baby step by having a center in Mumbai, but a lot needs to be done. Government has announced that they will open a center in Delhi, but it's still to be achieved in that sense. So I think there are various aspects from practitioners' perspective which needs to take arbitration to the next level. And surprising is that if you look at Singapore center, there are about 200 cases which went to Singapore center last year, most of them governed by Indian law. But only about 10 to 15 have an Indian arbitrator. So there are no Indian arbitrators. So people who are sitting in Singapore or sitting wherever, but opining or judging on Indian law are actually not Indians. So we need to create, and it's not about the nationalities or how does it matter. So even if you pick up the reports of LCIA, it will tell you that how many Britishers are there as an arbitrator. And then there are about 55% Britishers who are arbitrators in LCIA. And if you look at the part tribunals, if say one of the three arbitrators is British, the statistic goes up to 63-65%. So we need to produce more arbitrators who can go and arbitrate for us because they understand the system, they understand the law. So a collective effort is basically required to be built in that forum. Another interesting part of developing international arbitration is that where is the international arbitration focusing on? What sort of agreements, what sort of industries? There's a very high emphasis on sale of goods, a very high emphasis on services. So if you club these two, you will find about 45 to 50% of the disputes in arbitration pertains to these two sectors. And India is leading in services sector. That's our main driver. We're investing a lot in manufacturing to take on China or to do various other economic growth. So the disputes, as the industry grows, the disputes will grow. And this is how the world has been going towards the arbitration. So if you match these statistics, it looks like that India will have a big say on how arbitration shapes up. One area where India is unlikely to shape up and globally it's a big chunk is banking. In banking, the banks have either gone to DRTs or NCLTs, but they have not really gone to arbitration for larger disputes. For very small retail loans, they have gone to arbitration, which they have done in bulk without even caring about the quality. So that's not a good example. And then banking, if you leave banking aside, and Indian banks are not showing any intention to pick up the arbitration or mediation as a way to recovery or to restructure the loans. The two important sectors which has most arbitration are future of India. So are we going to use arbitration more? I think it looks like yes, we are going to use arbitration more. So we need to accordingly prepare our practitioners, prepare our judges, prepare our infrastructures to really get into this sort of disputes. So my general take on arbitration as a concluding remark is that the bar really needs to work on the arbitration, and we have to work on arbitrators to be prepared. Yes, there are a number of advocates who are now looking at being part of the UK bar, getting more into the arbitration. And that sort of resonates with what I'm saying, because a lot of that work is being handled by them in English law, Indian law, sitting out of London. And given that either the parties are Indian or the dispute is Indian or the governing law is Indian, the Indian lawyers are welcomed here, not because of anything else, because the work really is matching with what's coming out of India, and it's not happening in India, but it's happening outside. So either it has to start happening more in India, or the juniors lawyers have to be involved so that the practice really blossoms or grows the way it is. So yes, so as a last thought, as they say, conflict is inevitable. Combat is not, and arbitration is preferred and will remain a preferred way. And all of us should continue to work on that count. With that note, thank you to everyone for patiently listening to me.